Mike, how was the food at Hershey last week? You spent a week up at Hershey at the districts at the Giant Center. How many games did you catch last week?
I think I saw at least most of 16 games over the course of 6 days.
Wow.
So it was a lot of hoops, a lot of hoops and hoop related activity, and it was not a great week for me nutritionally because I'm by the time I'm leaving there, I'm sort of missing supper. By the time I'm leaving, I'm starving, so I'm stopping for fast food, and it was a tough week in that regard. So it's interesting that you brought that up.
So your cholesterol level was way up.
Oh, I believe so.
Let's look back on the week of districts and look a little bit ahead to the state playoffs and boys and girls hoops here. Locally, we had a couple teams. We'll start with Catholic High girls who won the district title. What impressions? You saw them a little bit during the year and, of course, read about them. Now that you got to see them firsthand, how impressive are they?
Well, two things. We had two teams from the Lancaster Lebanon League that won district championships, the Lebanon Catholic girls and the Lancaster Catholic girls. And in both cases, I thought of all the 8 championship games, boys and girls, 4 classes each, those were the two where you saw teams sort of rise above themselves. Kids making plays that they won't normally make, kids making shots, kids rising to the occasion. So many times the game gets ugly on that big stage. Kids are all keyed up and excited, and they can't make basketball plays. Both of those teams made tons of basketball plays, and it was fun to watch. And I think the Lancaster Catholic in particular was just a terrific game, and unlikely kids. This freshman for Aaron Holt for Lancaster Catholic, who actually made what ended up being the winning jump shot, who looks like she's about 12 years old, and she was kind of cute and funny, and her reaction to everything after the game. I asked her, "Are you as fearless as you look?" Because she plays with sort of a brash confidence. And I said, "Are you as fearless as you look?" And she said, No, I'm scared, but I just shoot. I'm open, I shoot." So it was very cool in that respect.
It's interesting because I read some comments. Lamar Kaufman just wanted to get his girls there to be on top of the ice, as he likes to say.
He loves that. That's his phrase, yeah.
And it's interesting because this is like, he looked at it like this was like give them the confidence, give them the year to sort of learn what it's like. And then the year that we're supposed to learn what it's like, they win the title.
Yeah.
So it's scary for how they're going to be the next couple years because they are younger.
Yeah, and you would think so. It's funny with Lamar's teams over the years. There's been times when, I remember I covered them one year in the second round at districts, and they barely beat a very ordinary Lebanon team. And I'm watching this game, and I'm thinking, this is way back. I'm thinking, this has got to be the worst team I've ever seen Lamar have. They won the state championship. And then there's been other years when they were undefeated and killed everybody they played in the regular season and didn't do much in March. And but it's the guy's got 700 wins, for God's sake. I mean he's sort of a legend, and he still is able to get, even at the age of, I think he's 74, able to get these young girls to respond and in basketball terms just overachieve. It's terrific.
It's impressive to watch his teams over the years. Columbia boys made a nice little run as well. Talk a little bit about what you saw from that.
Well, they lost in the semifinals to DeLone, and this is in boys class AA. Mm-hmm. They lost at DeLone. I didn't think they played very well in that game, but they're athletic. And AA, who knows? I mean, AA is not a strength of our area. I think they might have a chance to play a couple games. Sure.
And the kid going to Villanova for football, we're talking
Mike
about
Burke.
Athletic in basketball as well?
No doubt. Very athletic. And I was surprised how big and burly he looked. He looked more like you'd think he was a tight end or something more than a wide receiver, but he's going to go to Villanova and play wide receiver, and the athleticism is not a problem for him.
Okay, so there's a team that made some noise in districts that could, because it's AA, go far in states. What do you think about McCaskey, who had a great regular season run, got knocked out first round of districts?
Second round,
sorry about that. They have a very interesting first-round matchup here in states.
They ended up finishing 7th in district, and this is in Quad A boys, the big schools. And they're going to, which if you finish 7th in our district, you get the District 1 champion, which in this case is undefeated Chester, which is ranked 4th in the country. Just a monster team. Now, McCaskey played Chester in the regular season. They play him every year. It's where Steve Powell played at Chester. Steve Powell, who is McCaskey's coach. And it was not a blowout. Now, part of that was Chester has a kid named Williams who sat out for disciplinary reasons for the first half. And then when he came on in the second half, I mean, this kid's been recruited by North Carolina and UConn and so forth. When he came on in the second half, their team fit together a lot better, and they ended up winning. They only beat McCaskey by about 10. It was certainly a competitive game. and McCaskey ought to be capable of being better now, but obviously Chester is a lot better now. They're destroying people.
These are the kind of games McCaskey plays where they live for these kind of games where they're the underdog. It seems like when you underestimate or don't expect much is when these guys rise up.
I've seen it out. You're right. That's a very good point. I've seen it happen before. Their X's and O's are different. A lot of times I've seen them go to a zone defense or something, and I think this is not only effective defensively, but it slows them down a little bit and gets them. They have the tendency to get caught up in this racehorse style, and it kind of gets their feet underneath them and gets them settled. And so it'll be interesting to see how they do it. But I mean, we're talking about a monster high school basketball team here in Chester. Huge challenge for McCaskey.
But one thing you've said from watching McCaskey, you think they have got, 4 good guards, and they should almost be more of a European style, or we see Orlando.
Drive and kick, yeah. And they do play that style to an extent. I think they could do it more and better than they do. But the York coach, after they lost to York in the second round of districts, he said, they're the most complete team in our district. They're, without question, they have shooters, they have size, they have quickness, they have athletes, they have guards. They are. McCaskey is a potentially dangerous team, but again, Chester.